Good evening and welcome to another episode of Top CincoPod. Thank you for those that have been watching all the previous episodes and for anyone that's new joining again today. Don't forget to like, follow, share and subscribe. Literally at Top CincoPod, and that's on X, that's on YouTube, and that's on TikTok as well. So don't forget to check out all those pages. We've got some good content on all three. Obviously, watching on YouTube, we've got the full episodes, and then the others, we've got little clips from extracts of what we record. So thank you, and please like, follow, share, and subscribe again. Jimmy, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and then we'll get straight into it, mate.
Yeah, Jimmy here. Follow me at Manzano Media on Instagram or at Jimmy Manzano on TikTok. Starting to see some growth on there. Things have been going nice. So appreciate it and looking forward to another episode of Hot Topics.
Good stuff. Love to see it. Don't forget to like and follow his stuff as well, guys. We're going to go straight into my boys, Arsenal, from the weekend. It was a decent win for them, even though I feel like they did make hard work of it. I was working, so I was just catching up with updates, and I saw obviously a 2-0 up. You're thinking, yeah, decent, cruising, and then Leicester draw back to 2-2, and fucking hell, what a goal from James Justin. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great goal.
Equaliser, mate. Absolute techers, mate. He's absolutely blammed that in. And then you're just like, it's gonna be one of those games. And you see, you're checking the City score as well, and you're like, no, did City play earlier?
I think they were the first early kickoff, weren't they?
Yeah, they were the early one actually. So you see that result, and you're like, come on, you've got to take advantage of this. Got to make this
100%.
And then Ndidi, and unfortunately for him, it's gone down as an own goal, like Trossard there at the back post. But I think I heard it was the 17th corner of the game for Arsenal, which is absolutely mental when you think about a game of football, having to defend 17 corners, especially against Arsenal as well, and their set pieces. Like, you're thinking this is a long afternoon.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the fact he just snuck that in, and then Havertz rounding it off there. So that was a good win for Arsenal, keeping the pressure on. But I think they'd be disappointed that they were in control and let it slip, because I don't think Leicester are the kind of team that should be causing Arsenal too many problems if they're looking to keep the pace up at the top of the table. What do you think on that?
Yeah, no, I think you guys were absolutely. It was a must-win game, even though it was this early, just because of seeing City drop points, and I guess because you're playing Leicester as well. That's a game you're expected to win, certainly. So yeah, I think, but all round, it made it difficult, but got the result. City drop points. First full game without Rodgers dropping points. Fantastic news for Arsenal.
I mean, do you see Guardiola's goal, mate? He was moving in the box like he was a striker, mate.
Yeah, I know. He's a saucy guy. Yeah.
Scored a few goals for them, and Gordon with the penalty as well. He's rapid, by the way. Got to watch his pacing behind. Dangerous player. Let's go on to your boys. Obviously, we always talk about us, our teams first. But what a Super Sunday it was for United again.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough one. I'm glad to see the Bruno red card's been overturned. He won't miss any games. That's positive, at least. That's positive. But it was one of them where I was looking at the sort of table before the game. We were like 11th and 12th or 10th and 11th. I can't remember, but we were literally next to each other in the table. Kind of a similar story, same amount of points of the season. But I was just like, the Tottenham are in it was interesting because I was looking at it. I was like, Tottenham feel like they're in a way better place than what Man United are in, even though we're just in the exact, as of right now, in the exact same spot. I would take being a Tottenham fan over a United fan right now all day. And so I was sort of having that I don't know, I was like, we definitely could beat this Tottenham team for sure. But I was like, but are we? Like, are we at the moment? At the moment, it's surreal. It feels like I generally go into almost every single game not feeling confident anymore. Like, unless it is against a Barnsley in the Cup. Other than that, but even that, look at last season, we made it difficult against the lower league
Coventry.
teams anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, against Coventry. So,
nearly shocked.
yeah, pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I don't know. I think
I just don't know what the game plan is when you watch United these days. It's
yeah,
just like,
but it's so
get the ball
confusing
forward and
because
hope for the best.
it's the same kind of style. This is where I find it interesting, like dissecting it, because I'm going with all the different managers we've had. The players basically just go out and do the exact same thing. We've had managers from all different philosophies and approaches and experience levels and everything, and yet they just go out and do the same shit every single time. We bring in new players, and they become shadows of themselves. Typically,
do you think it's a culture thing then? Is there a problem at the club then?
I think there's been a cultural problem for a long time. I definitely think that. I think a lot of people like feeling like, well, we're Manchester United, so like I'm something important because of the fact that I'm here. Sort of shit that just none like the amount of shit that would be going on there now that would have ran under Fergie for sure.
Yeah,
like there'll be all kinds of shit that goes on now that just never would have been accepted.
100%.
But I don't really get it. Like every player we bring in ends up looking pretty shit pretty quickly. Even players where I go, yeah, that's sort of the right signing we should have made.
Like it's going to be the right signing.
Still never ends up being it.
The ones of this season, I guess you're gonna have to give them time because it is still.
Oh, for sure. I'm not including them in my assessment yet. Yeah. And to be fair, Mazuri looks pretty good. But and Delap, he had a bit of a rough game in that one, but so did many other players. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know what the answer is. People are, there's all kind of suggestions, but I don't get it because we just play shit. And I don't like there's some of the mistakes we saw them make like the Brighton game where there's no marking at the back post, free header late on in the game. It's like no coach is giving you that advice. That's not tactical advice. That's players switching off or like not concentrating. I don't know, but it's messy. It's going to be. I was optimistic.
You could go on for ages, couldn't you? Like honestly, that's
yeah.
Because it's
just
not one or two things. There's so many things that you can just keep reeling off, and that's how bad it is at the club.
And I will say this: it's one thing that is interesting, and like it's without a doubt, if you look at the last 10 years, it's our shittest period for half a century, probably, right, or one of them. And we've still got 5 trophies in the last 10. It's weird. It's weird because you could argue they're not trophies we would typically be lauding about or going crazy for. But I think it was 2 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, and a Europa League. For most teams over a 10-year period, that would be a pretty decent run.
Pretty good return.
It would be a pretty it's not a terrible return. And but it also doesn't tell the full picture either. So like, even with that, I find I'm like, oh yeah, it's like
managers got sacked after winning those trophies. So,
sure. Well, that's winning one trophy every 2 seasons on average, and yet that doesn't see when you say that you go, that doesn't sound bad at all, but no one would argue that it's not terrible right now. So it's weird. We're in a super unique spot that I don't think many clubs have been in before, where the expectations are still super super high. It's hilarious to rival fans watching the downfall, but it's also not been. When I think of like Liverpool's down period, like they really went years without winning shit. But I guess they were always competitive within those years. They didn't have seasons of finishing 10th, so maybe just because they just finished 4th every year, that masks the fact that, and that would be the case with United. If United were finishing top 4 every year, there'd still be people saying we should win the league, but. Not as bad. That was a long run. I do apologise.
No, it's absolutely fine. I mean, that's what it's like being a United fan at the moment. So people need to understand that and people see that. So it is what it is, mate. It's painful. Let's touch on I think the game of the day. If I'm being honest, that was Chelsea against Brighton on Saturday. What a game that was! 4-2. Cole Palmer, absolute player, mate. the first player in Premier League history to score 4 goals in the first half.
Amazing. That guy is so good. I didn't think he was. Some players have seasons and you think, oh, is it just going to be a bit of a flash in the pan type thing? I didn't get that feeling at all last year. But it was kind of crazy how he just came out of nowhere and
I think he
absolutely
me.
balling.
He definitely surprised me last season. I knew that he had glimpses in him because whenever he got the squeeze at City, he always did something or he showed what he was capable of. So the fact that he got the move to Chelsea, you're like, oh, okay, well, let's see what he can do. And he literally was like, okay, I'm gonna show everyone what I can do.
Yeah, serious point. And then did it again at the Euros as well. Deserves credit for that because every time he came on, he was a problem.
He's just a guy that's the proof in the pudding when it's when they say footballers play off of confidence, and he is literally playing off of confidence. He is at the top of his game right now. He's just going from strength to strength, and he's performing week in, week out, and it's good. It's great to see. It's great to see.
Yeah. I also love the memes that go around like he's too stupid to feel pressure.
I haven't even seen some of them. That's deep.
Have you not seen that? They're like,
feel pressure.
They're like, that's why they're like, this guy's going to be one of the best to ever do it, just because he's not got the intelligence to feel the pressure of any moment. He's just going to play. And oh man, I love it. If anyone hasn't seen like Cole Palmer like interview compilations, they're arguably as good as his goals, if you ask me, because it's just so funny. It's just a man who just doesn't seem to understand anything.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant, man. He's brilliant.
Yeah, big fan.
I want to. We'll come back to Chelsea and Cole Palmer, but obviously there is another game we should probably discuss on the weekend, which is Wolves against Liverpool. That was again another big win for them. They are leading the bunch at the moment, top of the pack, 15 points. Still looking good.
Yeah, very impressive. What a great transition for Liverpool. You can't have imagined they'd be thinking they'd be going for it this season based on losing Klopp and then not really strengthening the squad at all. I don't think even the most optimistic Liverpool fans wouldn't have gone with being top at this point. Or maybe they would. Maybe some of them would. But hey, fantastic start for them.
They just didn't know what they were going to get, did they?
I think that's it. Yeah, it's true.
The fear of the unknown, and it's just like, wow, he's okay. It looks okay.
But even if they were sat 6th or 7th at the moment, I don't think that would be terrible from them in their position, considering, as I say, just swapped out, your legendary manager's just left. Didn't really strengthen in the summer, or if you were just staying kind of competitive in his early games, you'd be. I don't know. For me, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. But he's not. Yeah. Not only is he not just doing that, like say sitting top, and it's going to be hard to argue them not being contenders. I think that if it goes down between City and Arsenal, Liverpool will be the ones that determine who wins that in the games that you guys play against them, if that makes sense. But it might be a case that they even win it themselves.
Imagine. This is the thing. I think at the moment it really is 3. I think you would say that you can't really separate right now, which is
not at all.
Which is good / entertaining. We'll see how it goes further into the season, I guess, because the Premier League is full of surprises. Sunday. Super Sunday, like we already touched on the United Tottenham game. Well, we might as well mention Ipswich Villa because that was again another. I think that's another decent point for Ipswich. I mean, I see home game against Aston Villa, Champions League team as well. We've got to put some respect on Villa's name, and shout out to the young talent in that game. Delap and Rodgers both getting goals there as well. Watkins getting on the score sheet again. But it was a good game. It was an entertaining game. Did you catch any of it?
I caught the highlights. Good game. Ipswich fans will be, I think you'd be pretty buzzing with that point. Probably a little disappointed if you're Villa, to be honest with you. I think most Villa fans, with how things have been going, you'd expect to beat Ipswich. But not the worst point either. So Yeah, I don't think Villa fans will be too devastated with that. I think Villa fans are going to. There's going to be a few results like that with just the increased fixture amount. There's going to be you're not going to finish top four again and have a great Champions League run. It's not going to happen in that with that current squad. But I if it was me, I would take a fun, entertaining Champions League run, maybe getting some big away days in there against some big teams, and finishing 6th or 7th, or just even in the top 10. I think that would be a good season to remember.
They've got a big game tomorrow, to be fair, mate.
Yeah.
Let me just double check who they've got, because that is going to be a hell of a fixture. They are playing Bayern Munich at home, mate.
Oh, that's what I mean. That's a hell of an away day.
They're at home. So
that's true.
For Villa Park, mate, that's going to be absolutely rocking tonight, mate. That's going to be crazy.
Have they got Juventus in their little group as well? I feel like they do.
In their fixtures, they've got like decent fixtures.
I think they've got like. I have a friend who's a Birmingham City. No, sorry, he's from Birmingham and supports Aston Villa, and I'm pretty sure there was an Italian or somewhere where I was like, oh mate, that's a quality away day. That's a great away game to go to.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, Villa Park will be rocking tomorrow.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our second kind of talking point that we're going to discuss this evening, and I want to talk about Brennan Johnson, mate, because he's now hit 4 in 4 since deactivating his socials. So I guess the first question is does it really make a difference to a player when he deactivates his socials, and is this the best way to respond to those by doing what he's doing, really? What do you think? He's hit one, he's another, it's a rich vein of form, he's just going through it right now, he's going to fade off? Or do you feel like this is the Brennan Johnson that Tottenham fans thought they were getting when they paid all that money for Forest?
Yes, yeah, for sure. I think he's looking like what they would want him to become. But yeah, I think I think as a footballer, like, it must be, if you're someone that reads comments, and I think I'm of the opinion, I think most people read about themselves. I think in any, not just footballers, I think any actor, singer, they'll have a cheeky look to see what people are saying about them, right? Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're getting 200 great comments. If one person's like, this guy's fucking shit, I bet that's the one you remember, or anything that like it just sticks home. So I bet you see a lot of negativity. I mean, I don't personally believe, like, I don't follow any footballers on social media because I'm just like, I don't believe it's them. I don't believe it's them for starters. So I'm just like, there's no. I don't want to follow some lady who's just posting Marcus Rashford pictures or whatever, like, because that's basically what it is when you follow Marcus Rashford. Yeah, it's a PR lady or man or whatever, or whatever they are. But I'm not interested in, like, you wouldn't follow a Marcus Rashford fan account that's just posting pictures of Marcus Rashford, because that would be sad. Exactly. So that's all you're doing, following his real account. It's just following a fan account, basically. It's the same equivalent. It's not their opinion, not their even pictures. It's just pictures of them. There's not, anywho. So yeah, if I was a football player, I would just delete it, or just have a burner or whatever. But I think, just deactivate, turn them all off. I'm not in any way approving of the abuse footballers get.
If you was a professional footballer at Tottenham in his shoes, would you have an X account?
Well, the whole sort of thing they always like talk about is like footballers having like a brand, like it's having a brand outside. But like, how many players become that, where they become a brand? You're talking like a handful over a generation, like a generation over a handful is a handful, right? So it's always, unless you're one of those five, like of the absolute biggest stars in football, like, just don't fucking have it. What is the point of it? What are you gaining from it? Just people telling you you're fucking shit every week, or like sometimes worse. Sometimes it's even worse abuse than that. That's a light-hearted one, like just saying, "Oh, you're fucking shit." Like, it gets way worse than that. So I personally just think it's not. And I know that there's definitely an argument that these social media companies can do more to protect it, but I don't know necessarily how you do all of that. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know how you do. So it's just like, just don't have it. It's not your human right to have fucking Instagram or X or whatever. It's not like, just don't have it. or just don't put your real profile in there or whatever. I don't know. But I'm not saying that's it. In an ideal world, obviously remove the racism and all of that. But whilst we're in one where that is happening and does exist, maybe just don't go to the place. It's like saying, like how I look at it, if there was like a park, right, and it was like the racist park, okay, and I said to you, like, don't go to that park, it's racist, and you're like, well, shouldn't we just knock the park down? I go, I agree, like we're doing what we can, but for now, just don't go in the park.
Go there, bro.
yeah, just don't go to the park. All right, we're working on it. We're working on getting this park destroyed, but for now, just don't go to the park. That would be my analogy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's good.
Yeah.
But, you're saying just don't bother with the socials, but it's good to see that he's doing what he's doing. Obviously, I'm flipping Arsenal, so it's not that great to see, but at least he's got his head up and he's not one of those sulking around and listening to what these mugs are saying and letting that get him down. I want to move on to 3 players that I did mention briefly earlier because I think they deserve a mention. Is the next stuff we're going to talk about, which is Brennan Johnson. No, sorry, not Brennan Johnson. We're going to go with it's Morgan Rodgers, Cole Palmer, and Liam Delap because they were all in the same Manchester City youth team in 2022. 4 years on, and they've all scored in the Premier League. It's pretty decent, right? I mean, obviously, Palmer, he's taken the headlines, but Rodgers he's had a very good start to this season with Villa and scoring this weekend, which was good for him. He looks like a very, very decent signing. Emery picked him up at back end of last season. I think it was January. Did you see? I think a couple of the games that he played back end of last season.
Mate, possibly. Yeah, it's not from strong memory. A lot changed in my life in the last year, so my memory's memory's faint.
But no, he's had a very good start to this season. But it's just depends with them 3 were all in the same team, and they're all doing bits at different teams. Liam Delap, son of Rory, long throw Rory, mate.
That's crazy, isn't it?
He's doing all right. Record signing for Ipswich and banging for them.
All right, sorry about that, everyone. Laptop died on me, so we had to do a quick pause, let it come back on, and then we're good to go. So we were talking about Delap Jr. That was where we were at.
Yeah, bagging for Ipswich,
Yeah.
Record signing from Man City. He was never really going to get a chance, or he might have been back up this season if he did fancy staying for another season. But if he's got people that are his age that he was playing with and they're doing bits in the Premier League and making their breakthroughs, then he's got to back himself as well. And fair play to him for backing himself and making that move to Ipswich because, you could easily sit pretty at City, get your money in, make the odd appearance here and there, and maybe the season after try and make a move. But, you're in a newly promoted team. He must have seen the vision and brave of him and fair play to him for doing it as well. It looks like it's paying off, and hopefully he will continue to get more and more goals. But him and the other 2, Palmer and Rodgers, different gravy at the moment. They're all doing very well, which is sick to see because we were talking about when we were talking about the game overload, and I'm like, well, give these more young players a chance, and they jumped and they're getting chances at the clubs they're at now.
Thank goodness these guys did take that, because can you imagine if this was what City just had lying in their academies, that players we didn't even know about, and it's like they go to other teams and they become their best player like immediately. It was we should be very lucky, and or it could tell you how, because you think there'll be guys at City that we don't, as non-City fans, that we probably don't know about yet, who were like, who Pep said, no, stay because you're up next, and maybe those other guys, he was like, you're not next. So I'm just like, they could have some ridiculous talent. They almost certainly do, to be fair, that we don't know about, and definitely. It's not fair. So I'm glad these players have left. It's interesting though, because I thought about this. Like, City obviously are producing really high quality players. Even Sancho, you can say came
from them.
From
Lavia came from them.
Yeah, you don't. But I don't know if it's just me or maybe, but you don't hear about much about City at like in terms of winning stuff at a youth level, really.
At the youth level,
like I hear United does quite well. You hear about other teams that do well. Chelsea do well, but it's never, or Liverpool perhaps as well. But yeah, I just don't really hear it about City, which is interesting, just considering how many good players end up coming from them.
Obviously, was 4 years. So that youth team was 4 years ago. So, but then that was that was around COVID times, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe that's just why.
Maybe that's why we didn't. Yeah, but they have produced, that's for sure. They've gone on and they've sold quite a lot as well. So fair play to City, but fair play to those guys for getting out there and making names for themselves, or starting to make names for themselves, and long may it continue. Let's go to one of the last topics of the evening. Actually, before we discuss Ten Haag, because I think I want to discuss Ten Haag, and the main question is it time for him to go? But before we go there, we had the joy of the Champions League being on before we did the recording tonight. So I think we should talk about the Champions League games, or some of the games, because there were some good results, some interesting results. And we'll start again with my guys, Arsenal. 2-0 at home to PSG.
Yeah.
Decent. Game was won in the first half, really. Set pieces again, mate. I don't know what it is with Arsenal, but it's lovely, mate. It's mad that anytime they get a set piece now, I'm pretty sure people are shitting themselves. Well, they know that they need to be on job. They know they need to be switched on, because Arsenal are gonna do something. It's just such a dangerous weapon to have, and it's interesting to see that there's not just Arsenal that has a set piece coach as well. Like, this is something that, did they even have like a set piece coach like 10, 15 years ago?
I doubt it.
Clubs, do you know what I mean?
I think it would have just fallen under the attacking coaches or the defensive coaches, do you know what I mean, in terms of what to tell each player. But it's mental. But if you get, I think, if I'm being honest, I think 99% of them are a waste of time. But I think when you do get one, like Arsenal's got, like, clearly there's a little bit of imagination. But I also believe in 3 or 4 years, this guy will be redundant as well, because it'll be everyone just figures out. Everyone will just figure. There's only a limited number of things you can do, right? Like with a corner, and I think he's definitely changing up a little bit and adding some new life to it. But people will figure it out quickly enough, and then he'll be. I mean, he'll probably still be at the club, but he'll be. They're not. It's like, I don't know, like a sports psychologist or whatever that some clubs are. I'm like, fucking just get on with it. Get on with it.
all these little roles. Let's go through these games. Barcelona, mate, they beat Young Boys 5-0, but Lewandowski got 2, mate. Do you know he's 36 years old?
Mate, bossing it.
He's 36 years old and he's still banging in goals. He's been scoring like since the start of the season as well. He's doing it in all competitions. But Rafinha as well, he started off the season fire, mate.
Great start,
Great start for Barcelona. Leverkusen, great result for them at home. Victor Boniface with the goal there, 51st minute against Milan. So that's a big result for them after their draw during the weekend against their rivals Bayern Munich. How about this, mate? This is the result of the evening for me. Dortmund 7, Celtic 1. That is an absolute stuffing, mate. That's an absolute stuffing. You don't want to be playing in a competition like this. This is a big European competition as well, and getting 7 like that.
Yeah.
Getting
7. Listen, if it was up to me, I would just ban Scottish football from the Champions League. What is the point? We've seen enough. We've seen enough now. If it's about go on.
I was about to say congratulations to Adeyemi as well, man. He got a hat trick today. So
yeah.
I don't know how difficult it was for him, but
Doesn't sound like it was very difficult.
Poor Kasper Schmeichel as well, mate. New keeper in the sticks at Celtic there.
Yeah, rough.
Catching 7.
But yeah, let's get rid of Scottish football. Let's just get rid of Scottish football, actually, not just from the Champions League. Let's just get rid of it. Or let's let's give it
Savage.
the title it correctly deserves, which is like, let's make it non-professional. Let's make Scottish football Sunday League football.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I think it deserves.
How can you, Jimmy, mate? That's terrible for me, mate. That's terrible. Inter Milan were at home to Red Star Belgrade. They won 4-0. Good win for them, I guess. Red Star Belgrade, but it's a standard result. Well, it should be a standard result for them. City, easy as well. They won 4-0, but I think that's the same team that Celtic played in their first game, and Celtic beat them 5-1. So, yeah, that's the.
I'm guessing Celtic are at home for sure in that game. They only ever win at home. They get absolutely smashed. If you were a Celtic fan, going away in Europe is the most pointless.
They would get battered to see their team get battered. That's what they're doing.
That's true.
Yeah, they're getting battered to see their team get battered.
Yeah,
and then there was an EFL game tonight. Newcastle were at home to Wimbledon, and they won 1-0. Fabian Schär penalty. Fabian Schär penalty against AFC Wimbledon. Well done to you, Newcastle. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Let's talk about Eric Ten Haag. Is it time for Ten Haag to go? Long and short of it, what do you think, Jimmy?
Well, it's hard because like the results haven't been there, and they're not results you think would be accepted, or and you certainly don't want them to become normalised, even though it kind of feels that that's the way it's becoming. But my question is, when you're replacing, this is the biggest problem I have as a United fan, right? Because over the last decade, we've pretty much gone and got the manager that I thought at the moment was the best manager. When we went and got Mourinho, I was like, that's the guy that we needed. Didn't work out. Yeah. Then when Solskjaer came in, he had the buzz about it, or like those first, say, 10 games, I was like, this is clearly the guy that we need right now. Yeah. So, yeah, he may not win us the Prem, but this is the guy for right now. Give him the job. Yeah. Almost every United fan was in that position, for sure, when it happened. Mm-hmm. Didn't work out. And when he left, I was saying the manager I wanted was Eric Ten Haag. That was the exact guy that I pointed out to get. And it's not working out. So so we can't complain because and then what worries me is if we get rid of him, the alternative is what? Because I'm hearing things like Gareth Southgate getting thrown out there.
That was the next question. Yeah, that was the next question. What, Gareth Southgate, Thomas Tuchel, but you know that he's going to have problems probably with ownership because he just has those issues with hierarchy at previous clubs. You know, you'd say someone like Zinedine Zidane, who's a free agent as well, but is he really going to come to Manchester? I really doubt it.
I can't imagine Zidane living in.
Options are so limited.
In Manchester.
Graham Potter, is Graham Potter going to be the one to take you to the next level of where you need to
be
right now, where the fans want you to be? It's
no.
You know what I mean? So it's just like you are kind of stuck with him. I think I honestly think they tried to replace him in the summer.
For sure. I completely agree. I think that was kind of open that almost that happened. They were interviewing. I think Tuchel was someone that they interviewed and decided against it because of something, or spoke to him. I don't know if it was an interview, but he still kept his job. But I think like Southgate, not only do I fucking hate the man, and I his ideology of football is fucking disgusting. He's never won a big game. He's not won a big game before. Like every game he played, like you could argue that England knockout games, but they're against teams that we should have been beating, and he made it difficult against them. He made it difficult against them. Every single time we played a team as good or better than us, we lost. Every single time we lost. So why on earth would we?
Not the answer.
No, not at all.
He's not. He's definitely not the answer.
I generally would have to stop supporting Man United for the time that Southgate was there. It's that serious. It's that serious. So I'd have to give up. Yeah, I'd have to just.
So you
hit pause.
So you kind of have to just stick with him.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you lose your next two games. You got Porto Thursday, and then you've got Villa. Mm-hmm. Even if you lose those two games, is he still safe?
I think so. Well, yeah, I think so. I think if it always comes down to who you're gonna get, and I think all of the managers that we're trying to, or that we would want to get, or that none of them are available right now. So I think we just have to.
I saw a couple of articles or a couple of people that were saying over the summer, like the fact that they brought Ruud van Nistelrooy in, they kind of knew what they were doing because he was going to be the next one to potentially take over from Ten Haag should they want to sack him, because, you know, he's got managerial experience. He won a trophy at PSV and then left. And then now he's, you know, gone from being a manager to being the assistant. So is he maybe there waiting in the wings to...
Well, I think that's the most likely scenario of what happens is if Ten Hag goes, certainly if it's during the season, is that Van Nistelrooy will have like a live job interview, so to speak, where he'll take over as slight on a temporary basis, and then during those games, if it starts going well, he'll be given the job, and then it will go from there. But I don't know. I don't think Ruud van Nistelrooy is the.
How weird it would be seeing Ruud van Nistelrooy as a Man United manager. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Because he was such a bagsman. Like, again, that was our era, watching him. Just net goal after goal for United, mate. That guy was a dangerous striker in the box.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be weird seeing him being or permanent.
Like, but that's the thing. I don't. Is there, like, I'll put this to you as a non-United fan. Is there any manager else? Let's exclude Pep from that, because I think everyone would take Pep, or Ancelotti. I'll include as well. Right, so those two are removed. What manager would come into United right now if we had the choice of everyone else and fix the problem? Just purely manager. We're just changing the coach. Long silence.
It's a very good question. I mean, like you said, just the manager, just to come in and change.
Like, one that maybe comes to mind is Hansi Flick, just seeing what he's doing at Barca. But I don't know if he's just going to be able to come in at United and start getting us going like that.
Like Bielsa, mate. Bielsa will get Old Trafford rocking again, mate. I tell you, you'd have some entertaining games there, boy.
Yeah, but again, I don't know how conducive he is to winning anything. Yeah.
No. But all jokes aside, it is that's a very tough question, and being completely honest with you, there's not too many managers that would spring to mind. I quite like Luis Enrique, actually, the PSG manager.
Yeah.
I think, you know, he did a great job at Barcelona as well. He's someone that could potentially do something there. But that's just me. You've put me on the spot. That's just a manager that I think that's a great manager that comes to mind. Like, and then there's so many of these young managers. None of these young managers can come in. You can't say any of these managers just starting out, like your Alonso's, like your Arteta's, and you can't say any of those because they're not going in there and doing a job with that United team. No way.
No, for sure. No, I'd agree. The two names. Well, I guess the four, if you want to include, I'd say Pep, Ancelotti, Hansi Flick, and Luis Enrique are the only four I could possibly think of. Listen, outside of maybe Guardiola, I could see it going wrong with all the others still. I could see it going wrong. Yeah. Guardiola's only one I don't see it go wrong with because, you know, but also I don't. He just does football on a different level. But at the same time, he wouldn't have the same.
I can see him doing something like just getting rid of half of that first team and getting the youth boys in anyway. The youth boys will listen to him and he'd get them playing the way he wants them to play, mate. Half of those boys would be gone, mate.
Once he gets you on his weird football psychedelic like trip of how he sees football, once you can understand, oh man, you're in for it. It's why I don't think Jack
documentary is an absolute madman, mate.
But he's a crazy person.
Madman, but I love him. Yeah.
It's why I don't see Jack Grealish becoming or at least worth his fee. It's because he's too much of a fucking idiot to understand what the level Pep's going to talk about. Probably the same reason Cole Palmer left as well. He's like, have you spoken to this guy? I can't understand anything he's saying. I reckon they're just too stupid to understand what he's talking about and won't reach their potential there.
You're a dickhead.
I'm not. I'm being serious. I'm being deadly serious. I think that's a genuine thing. I think you've got to be a certain level of intelligence to even understand what the fuck Pep's talking about. To even understand what Pep's talking about, because I bet he throws in like I know a lot of like Latin people in general, right? And they love a fucking analogy. They love being like, oh, when the bee stings you at noon, like it means you need to go do this or some bullshit. Yeah. Some bullshit. Yeah. So I imagine in between him doing all this shit, he will then say some weird, wacky like phrase that no one's ever heard before. Like when the donkey pisses in the bushes, like you have to get up early or some will be some weird stuff. So yeah. So I think if you're on the lower end of the IQ scale,
yeah, you think it's an intelligent thing with him.
To understand him, yeah, I think you have to buy into what he's doing, and also understand that most individual brilliance is sucked out of his team. His team isn't about individual brilliance. Typically, it's about team brilliance and team performance, which is obviously very good for winning, but not the most exciting to watch a lot of the time as well. When it's just players playing in a system, we all like a bit of individual brilliance, and you don't see that. You have obviously players that dominate, but not one where you're like, do you ever, even with like Haaland, right? The best striker in the world, I'd put him and Harry Kane up there. But you never get to a weekend, you go, oh man, I can't wait to see Erling Haaland play this weekend. You wonder how many he's going to score, but not like play. Yeah. But not how he's going to play. Yeah. Like, if you know what I mean. And that's been lost a little bit.
I'd rather tune in to see how Doku's going to play, because he excites me. Savinho, he excites me. Like watching them kind of players and what they're going to do, because they're the only ones really that have a little bit of license to do that and to express themselves slyly in a Pep Guardiola team, to be fair.
Yeah, and obviously Messi did it pretty well when he was coached by Guardiola, to be fair. So it's not impossible. You just have to be, elite, really, really elite.
Yeah, exactly. We have come to that time again, at the end of the show. We are going to finish off with the end game / question. What have you got for us today, Jimmy?
It's just a simple one this week. And simple would you rather? Nothing gross. We can poll it. This could be our poll for the week. This could be our poll. So it's would you rather score the winner in the Europa League final, or play in the Champions League final, but the result is, you've got a 1/3 chance of winning. We'll say no, because you can't draw a Champions League final, so it's 50-50. But you will win the Europa League and you'll score the winning goal in the final.
Oh, that's got to be about ego, really, and yourself as a person, right? Because you're the man, you've scored the winner. That's in a cup final, but it's not quite the creme de la creme. It's not the bee's knees, is it? It's not the Champions League final. It's not the big daddy. There are people who will still be watching you in both, I would imagine.
People are watching you in both, and there's a chance you don't win the Champions League, and no one remembers the runners-up of the Champions League. No one remembers that. It's tough.
Oh, man.
Let's presume both of them are for Arsenal as well. So it's not like if you guys did win the Europa League, it wouldn't be this incredible. Like if you won it for, I don't know, a small team, it would be a huge moment.
Again, like we said last week, the end of the last week's question, Arsenal have only been in one Champions League final. So you've made another final, but it's 50-50 if you're going to win, or you can definitely win the Europa League.
Yeah, and you'd score the winner.
And I'd score the winner. And it's with Arsenal.
So you're still winning Arsenal with the European trophy.
Yeah, I'm still winning them with a European trophy, and I will be in history because, our European history isn't.
You'll be the first one to win Arsenal with the European trophy. Yeah.
It's not as great as other teams. Chelsea fans, Man United fans, Liverpool fans will probably all be laughing.
Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, fuck you all. I'm scoring in the Europa League final, and I'm winning it for the boys.
All right.
That's my answer. What about you?
Interesting. Well, I'm a natural born winner, so I'd go Champions League. I'll go Champions League final and just back myself to win. Yeah. So that's what I would go for. To be honest, I'd probably score the winner in the Champions League final anyway. So all good. All good.
Fair.
All good, mate. Yeah.
No, but thanks for joining me again. It's been another enjoyable episode. Hope you guys have all enjoyed as well. We'll get the poll out at some point in the next couple of days, so you can get involved and get a few of the snippets out there as well. But please make sure you follow, you like, you share, you subscribe. Literally on X, we're on TikTok, and we are on YouTube, and that is at Top CincoPod. So that is at Top CincoPod for those to get involved and enjoy the media. Jimmy, do you want to take us out with your stuff?
Yeah, just going to shamelessly plug my pages again. So it's at Manzano Media on Instagram and at Jimmy Manzano on TikTok. So yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you again next week.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peace.
You cancel recording. You still recording?
Yeah, I've pressed stop. I've pressed stop though.
Oh, good.
It just says stopping.